Welcome back to episode 2, Phantom Park. I thought I would work a little bit more on the park. I'm gonna be honest. I saw the runtime of the last video and I was like, 40 minutes. That's a long time. So this is gonna be a shorter video. I'm gonna try to make all the videos shorter. No promises though. I tend to be someone who makes long videos, unfortunately. But yeah, let's just jump into it. So this first update, I'm gonna be honest, it doesn't really look like I've done much. Like I said, last episode, this is what we did. We created the front area of the park. One thing I'll mention is I rotated this building right here. It was facing this way, but I just moved it at an angle to give myself more room for some rides over here and just make it a little bit more flowy. I did the game section, did the carousel. I realize now that I do not have a sign for either of these rides, so I need to go back and I need to do that at some point in today's episode. But if we go down here, we come out through the entrance, and well, would you look at that? Just right off the bat, we have our first coaster. Let me actually turn down my my game volume. We have our first coaster here. It's a Jetstar 2. I fully recreated one, or it's a Jumbo Jetstar 2, sorry. I fully recreated one. So as you can see, it's pretty accurate. There is one issue right here. It kind of already went past. But because of how the trains are with these Jumbo Jetstars, it clips here. I might just leave it. With how tight of a space this is, I would have to like maybe redo it, and I don't feel like doing it. So I'm probably just gonna leave it as is. But honestly, most of it's fine. Like there really is no clipping issues other than right there. We have our main support column right here. If you look at pictures of Jumbo Jetstars, they have this big kind of circular column, and then they all like meet at a point up here with like a sign that says Jumbo Jetstar or Jetstar. So I kind of want to do something like that. Yeah, it's not done, like I said. It's all very, very work in progress. I've not done much in the park, but this update isn't going to be that big, so I needed to record a little bit of something so that you don't think that I am just doing everything all in one go. One thing that I love that I thought of is I used these, what are they? Coaster support cross beams. A lot of these traveling coasters have the cross ties underneath, and then the supports just connect down into these instead of having footers. This is very much going to be a traveling coaster that they just kind of plonk down. So don't expect super well themed rides or anything like that. We might have a dark ride, might have a log flume or something, but a lot of these rides are just kind of plunked down. Same thing with this coaster. I had to cut the edges off here because of the way the path is. I'm not exactly sure if this is realistic. I feel like it's not unrealistic that they would do this, but I'm not sure if this is how the coasters normally are. I left it plain back here. I might do the same here just to make it even. Over here we have Matterhorn. It's just a Matterhorn. This is again very, very early work in progress. The wall doesn't even connect here. I am not sold on the colors. I kind of just put something down. But I wanted something classic. I wanted something classic to where I speed it up. Any second now, y'all. Come on, you can start the ride. There we go. I wanted something to where it gives that effect of it going in and out of the building, like those classic Matterhorn rides. I don't know if I'm gonna have any effects on the inside. I might just have some like stickers or something like that. I don't know. But yeah. It's still very much work in progress. I'm gonna paint the path the same color as the path out here so it blends in a lot better. And yeah, this was a pain. This entire building was a pain to make because this is all on a rotator for the most part. And it was not fun. It was not fun to make. I'm gonna be so real with you. It was not fun to make this. But it coming along well. Yeah. It doesn't look the best right now, but hopefully it'll look better. Speaking of things that look decent, look good, we have the dodgems. I'm actually really chuffed with how this looks. I'm really happy with this. We have a dodgem sign here that is inspired by the one at... What is that park called? It has Hydra. Dorney Park. It's inspired by the sign for the bumper cars at Dorney Park. Now, the actual building is inspired by something different. I tried to recreate the Dorney Park one, but I felt like that was just too plain. So I went with something a little bit more gravitas, if you will. But still very old, very googie. I need to add the dirt decals and stuff like that. If you're on the ground, it doesn't look bad. Like, if you're back here, it doesn't look bad. You can't really see the roof. But as soon as you come over here, you start to see it peek through. Then, yeah, it kind of ruins the aesthetic. So I need to figure out what I'm going to do here. I might keep it black. I don't know. I just need to figure something out. But I really like this little corner here. This fits the vibe of the park very well. Got some benches down here. I saw in Mineral's video that he added like ads along here. I like that idea. I feel like that's something that the park wouldn't necessarily do, but I would definitely add something down the middle here to kind of connect the benches. Got some little planters. And then we just have our station for the Jetstar. The Jetstar station is based off of a gas station, which I'm looking at it from this angle. I need to redo this section because it's clipping. But it's based off of like a gas station or another car wash or something. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it looked nice. It was very simple. It was very basic, but it still gave off the Googie architecture vibe. So I went ahead and I ripped it one for one. I might copy it over to the unload station over here, but I don't know. We'll have to see. I might just make this like a flat roof. Make it very basic and very plain. Here's a little gift shop for the Jetstar. Gonna be very, very plain, like maybe t-shirts and hats, and that's about all they sell. This park doesn't really, it's not really gonna have dedicated gift shops for each of their rides, but I feel like the Jetstar would be something that they would put it in for. So yeah, pretty much we're just gonna be working in this area. I don't think we're gonna do more than this little section right here. I plan for this little back section to be its own video with like the pond included, and then eventually we'll get all around over here and then down here. I did some terrain work. This is where that like terrain wooden coaster I was talking about earlier in the previous episode would go. This is like the Jackrabbit inspired coaster. So yeah, that's where that would go. I have already placed the wooden coaster here. It fits nicely, so I think I'm gonna keep it there. And then I have an idea of a ride I could fit here, but that's too far. That's too far in the future. Right now we're focused on this little corner right here. We're just gonna expand the little front area, and yeah. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this building. I might make it a restaurant, but we have a restaurant over here, so I don't know if it would be like a quick service or if it would be like an actual like sit down restaurant. I don't know. We'll find out. I feel like a park like this would have a sit down restaurant, but I don't know where. They might put it on the pier, or not the pier, but they might put it on the lake, or they might not. This park is like it's very like crammed together, kind of. They kind of just use space wherever they can. But yeah, that is the first part of this episode. I appreciate all the support on the last episode, and I'll see you. Alright, welcome back. Update 2 time. I'm just gonna go ahead and pause this for now. Alright, so welcome back to Phantom Park, update 2. A little bit of a smaller update, just like last time. Although a lot of work has gone into it. It doesn't kind of look like it because most of it has been the custom supports on Jetstar. And also redoing the ride vehicles so that I don't have the clipping issue anymore. If we actually go over to this one right here, you can actually see that they're a little bit more accurate to the actual Jetstar vehicles. You can't get an exact replica of them because they are single seats with like you sitting behind someone, and these are, you know, you're sitting across from each other. I'm using the Intamin multi-dimension coaster for reference, but that hasn't been the only thing that I've worked on. As I mentioned, I forgot to add signs to the carousel, so I just added a quick sign here, and then also the Ferris wheel, which has been named Big Wheel because, you know, the name is fine. Let's actually just start over in this section because this is the least developed section. I added this little fence right here for backstage. I wanted this to be visible so that it get. Oh, why are there guests back there? I thought I blocked you off from being back there. Why are you there, bro? I hate the barriers. I hate the barriers in this game. Sometimes it works, sometimes they don't. But this is the exit station. I've done little to no work over here other than making a little fence here and then adding some like boxes and stuff that you can see from the on-ride perspective, just to make it feel a little bit more lived in. Obviously I need to add like fences and trims and stuff like that, but we have the basic outline of a station. Also, shout out to the town brick from the new DLC that came out like a month ago as of me recording this, because this is really good for generic brickwork. A lot better than the other brickwork that we've had in the game. This is just a little gift shop. This is actually based off of the funnel cake stand at Knoebels. If I can find a picture, I'll put it here. Really simple. It is just, you come in here, you got a few shirts, mugs, and that's about it. I need to do detail work in here. This is very much not done. None of this section is done, other than the basic outlines of it and trim work. But if we go over here, you can see I've not done work on the Himalaya ride whatsoever. I did add some lights, I think, from the last time you guys saw it. Possibly they may have been there, I don't know. But I'm just gonna redo this entire building. I don't like the way it's turned out, and I just kind of want to redo it. I did, however, fix the queue line. Since the new update, we have had square queues, so I've made this a lot more square-like. It has made my life a little bit easier, and then I've also just connected the main path up to here, so you just walk up to it. It makes the ride pad look a lot smaller than it actually is. Finish the bumper cars. Bumper cars are done. We have named them the Dodgems. There's a line here because everyone loves the bumper cars for some reason. But yeah, it's pretty much done. Gonna add some like star effects, like the same stars that I used on the entrance building over here. If I can, yeah, you can see them right there. I'm just gonna put them along the wall so it's not plain. I also need to finish the light work around it. But other than that, the bumper cars is done. Ignore this ride path. Ignore it. It is here for placing purposes. Actually, I'm gonna go out of Digicam real quick. It is here for placing purposes, just so that I can have a frame of reference of where the path can and cannot go. You will see what ride this is in the next episode. But if you can guess what type of ride this is just from the ride path, good on you. That is actually impressive, and you know your theme park history, because there's not many of these. I don't think there was many of these built. I can really only find reference pictures for like one ride at a Six Flags park. But yeah, Jet Star as it is called. Jet Scream is a water slide at my local water park. Again, just added some behind the scenes stuff, added some crates and boxes, a forklift, which I don't remember who this was made by. I can't remember who made this. I did not make the forklift or the cherry picker either. There is a golf cart somewhere. I thought there was a golf cart. I have a golf cart downloaded. If I go to my blueprints real quick. Where is it at? Is it scenery? Blueprints? Golf. It's somewhere here. There it is. Golf cart. I'm gonna end up putting this somewhere. I originally had it here, but then I just decided to move it. But this is made by Mineral. Yeah. It's really good golf cart. But I cannot remember who made these two. I believe the cherry picker came from this little pack right here. Yeah, it did. But again, all of this will be in the description of if you want to download it, along with like whenever you download it, I'll give credit to who did what, or at least I'll try to remember. Add a little gate here so that the cars and stuff could go in and out, and then of course the queue line. This is all custom fence work. I wanted something simple, generic, but also gives that 70s vibe. So we just stuck with the little metal hand railing, and then we put some wooden planks on top of it. Yeah, that's about it. I fixed the station on this side. Could not fix it over here, because if I do, it's going to bump up against here. So I'm just going to live with it. It doesn't honestly look too bad. Added some lights, trim work on the station. Yeah, it's pretty simple. But where a lot of my work went, and as you can probably tell, is the custom supports for Jetstar. I'm gonna be honest with you, it was kind of a pain, because everything has to be so tight together. It was kind of a pain, but it was worth it. It looks very nice, especially from peep level. It looks like a traveling fair coaster. It looks janky. I think my favorite jank view is right here. I just, ugh, I can feel the headbanging from there. That just looks super janky, and I love it. But yeah, I plan on connecting this up. Maybe not in this episode, probably in the next episode, because as I said, next episode is going to be this section with a little bit of the lake, and then this ride will be included. I'll show what that ride is. I'm thinking this is going to be like a little quick service restaurant, not too similar to this, or too dissimilar to this, but I also may make it a restroom. So I don't know. We'll go from there. Have not done any work along here because I'm waiting to see how this area develops. I want to see how... I have an idea of what I want to put back here, but until I put this back here, I'm not going to know what to do with this back section because it may just be fenced off. This may just all be backstage. I don't know. We'll find out. We will find out. But yeah, that's update 2. Like I said, relatively short. Yeah. For this next part, it's mainly just going to be touch-ups, adding trim work, benches, foliage, that kind of stuff, and then working on the Himalaya ride, which you are about to see right now. All right, here we go with the time lapse. So as you can see here, I'm taking apart the terrible building that I worked on for this Himalayan ride. I tried to cheese it and make it on the rotator, and it just did not work. It was just a pain. Everything was unsymmetrical just because of how the way I had to build it. I couldn't make it an entire circle, so I had to do it in a half circle, so I couldn't do the mirror feature. It was a whole thing. It was a whole thing, but I'm really happy with how this turned out. Honestly, right now I'm just working on getting the bare bones of it. I deleted pretty much everything except for those lights, which, yeah, after recording this final part, I need to go back and tone those down a little bit. Here, I'm trying to build the roof. It's not going good. I wanted something that was flat on the inside, but had that circular, like bulge, for that outside portion. But I couldn't get it, so I decided to just go back with old reliable, get a rotator out, and just start making circles. So I made a few circles, tweaked it a little bit so that they're actually symmetrical, because I wanted it to stick out. I wanted it to have an overlap, an overlook from the actual queue, because, you know, I don't want the center operator to... I don't want the ride operator to be burned while they're operating the ride. I'm not SeaWorld, California, or whatever that park is called with Emperor. But yeah, we're adding some basic stuff here. I was really confused of how I was gonna do this. I didn't really have a game plan of when I was making this. I was just kind of going with the flow. I looked at a reference image, but unfortunately most Himalayan rides are not this style. This is more of a what is it called? Musical Madness. I don't know. I end up calling this Musical Madness, but I don't think that that's what this ride model is called. But that style of ride is more of what we're going for here, even though this originally started out as a Himalayan ride. The difference, if you're wondering, is that most Himalayan rides that you see have the cars that like kind of swing on the outside and they go around in that circle. They're traveling fair rides, while these musical Mayhem-esque rides are more compact, not as portable, but some of them are still portable. The first one that comes to mind for me is obviously Tradewinds at Busch Gardens, just because it's my home park. But we're filling everything out here, making it look nice and pretty. We're doing the color scheme here. I was originally going for this like garish, rustic, reddish brown, but it just did not look right with all the colors. So I went ahead with this salmon pink and teal, which I think really sells like this 90s off the shelf, really terrible ride aesthetic that we go for at this park. A lot of times you'll notice with these types of rides that the bottom of them is not the same like wall. It's a false wall. So you have the metal grates that are there supporting the actual ride. So I just went ahead and recreated that. It also helps break up the scenery of the ride. It gives you something else to look at because your eyes naturally don't want to look at the same thing over and over again. So when you have that symmetry, when you have that difference that breaks things up, it just makes it a lot better. Makes it a lot more eye-pleasing, I find. And we just continued it around the inside here. Yeah. I really don't know what more to say about making this Himalaya. I'm just taking a screenshot here, sharing it with a Discord, getting their thoughts on it. Honestly, that's a big process for me. Sharing the creations as I'm making them and getting thoughts. Channel 5 is good for that, along with Bro Coaster. Bro Coaster is where I did most of the sharing for this park, getting a lot of feedback. It was mostly for episode 1, because I was really getting that style of the park down. So, yeah, shout out to them. They helped out a lot. And here we are, kind of wrapping things up here. We're just adding some of those musical notes on the outside. Not really too much detail, but, you know, you still want it to be quote-unquote themed for a park like this. And then we just add the stars, something to look at, you know, stuff to break it up, you know. And, yeah, let's go to update 3. And here we are, final update time. So you just watched the time lapse of me making this ride right here. I gotta say, it looks a lot better than the original one. Went ahead, just named it Musical Mayhem. I also added the lights. You didn't see that in the time lapse because I did it after the recording. I didn't realize I ended up stopping recording. But I did the queue line. I went ahead and redid it. So we have the actual square paths, and then I just added our custom fences. I'm gonna pause the game here. Yeah, honestly, I'm really happy with how this came out. Yeah, it gives off that very cheap, off of the shelf vibe, which is exactly what this park is. It's very off the shelf, very cheap. Yeah. Next up, as you can see, we added some benches, finished the backside of this building here. It was just blank for a while, but now it's added some decals, made it look nice. I didn't change anything from the actual shop itself other than this back portion, but we added a little planter here with some benches and umbrellas. That way you can watch the coaster go by as you're sitting here eating your burgers and fries and stuff like that. Honestly, it's a really nice view here. I love it. If we continue to go over here. Oh, also, change the lampposts. These are custom lampposts. 90% of the parts are from the new... What is it called? It's not the spooky pack. The magic pack. Whatever it's called. But yeah. Other than that little lamp shade right there, which I just stuck one of the crystal balls inside of it to make it look like one of those vintage light posts. I think it came out really nice. I'm really happy with it. If we come over here, finished the inside of it. So now that if you walk by, you can see the clutter and stuff. Unfortunately, there is a bug with the game right now after the last update to where barriers are not working. That's why in the last update, guests were walking through here. So there is nothing I can do to stop that, unfortunately. Added the trim to the building as I mentioned earlier. Nothing really changed here other than me adding the trim and then me adding the lights and stuff like that. I didn't change anything with the backside of this building right here. Still have the clutter and stuff. Nothing like that changed. We come over here, Shooting Star Gifts, added the sign, added some decals, made it look worn down. and then I dressed up the inside. Yeah, very, very basic. Nothing more than this. I think this is pretty much all you're gonna expect from a park like this. Although, I don't know why she is floating. I think I need to sink these down a little bit more. Yeah, that's about as much detail as this little shop is gonna get. Did some nighttime lighting on the inside. Very harsh kind of lighting. And yeah, that's honestly about it for this building. More planters. Honestly, a lot of this update is just detail work on the buildings and then the planters and stuff. We finally have a sign for Jetstar. I didn't want anything super grand, super big for this ride. It's not something this park would do. So I wanted the feel of this just kind of being painted on a wall that they had. It's kind of been here for a minute. It's fading and it's fading. There's cracks and there's dirt and grime and all kinds of stuff on it. So I think I achieved that very well with this. Honestly, it's a really simple effect. It's just some shapes and then the text layered on top of each other. Queue line is done. Made it look nice. Same thing with the station. Same light bulb pattern carried over from the other station is over here now. And then we also have restrooms here. I don't remember what building this is based off of. Some sort of googie 70s building that I really like the vibe of. It was connected to another building. That's why it has that little like orange diagonal thing. Originally, on the original picture, that was there, and then it would jet off into like a circular window kind of thing. But I decided not to do that. Let's make it a little simple, square building. Just something real simple for you to walk in, walk out. Have some water fountains for the restrooms, and then of course we have our lovely speakers. Another planter, and then there's the ride pad for next week's episode. Again, I'm not going to say what it is. If you think you have an idea of it, go ahead, put it in the comments, but I'm not saying anything. That's kind of why this area is bare. Nothing has really been done here, because I want to see what I'm going to do over here. Because this is all going to be rides and shops and stuff like that. I'm thinking of maybe like a pretzel dark ride. Something like that in this general area, and I want to see how big that is. But yeah, just put that here for reference. We have the dodgems, finished the dodgem, added some more trim, some more dirt and grime and all that kind of stuff. I even made it to where some of the lights are out, so whenever you're walking around you might notice a few bulbs that are black, because park doesn't have money to replace them. Unfortunately, cannot make the ride pad smaller. So this is the pad for the bumper cars, even though it looks like this is an actual path that the guests can walk up. And that's the idea. The guests will come up here and stand, watch them, all that kind of jazz. They're not going to, because that is the actual ride pad. So I thought I would just turn this into like a little backstage area. Have some little crates, trash cans, that kind of stuff. You see that a lot in theme parks. Tiny little places in between crevices are generally just storage areas. Speaking of the ride pad, because of the queue line, I can't put anything here, so I just made a fake queue line. Made it look extended. The idea of it is whenever you need to extend the queue line, you would move this chain over here and then take that chain, move it over there, and then you're all good. You got a little, maybe extra 5 minutes or so of queue. But yeah, same deal, added some more grime and dirt and all that to this outside. Honestly, they should really open up that extended queue, because I don't know why the bumper cars have the longest line in this park. It's actually insane. The coaster is all green. I don't know why everyone is not on that, but they're all over here for some reason. Did some detail work on the backside here. I didn't do all of it because I want to see what you can and cannot see from here. I don't want to put tons and tons of effort into it just yet. I want to wait, see how the rest of the lake area develops. But yeah, that is kind of about it for this update. I'll go to a bird's eye view for now. Honestly, a lot of it was just adding the planters, making it look nice, making it look like it's been here for a minute. I added the crack decals all the way through here. I need to do it here, so I'll probably do that off camera, because this is supposed to be a little worn out too. It's a little newer, but it's still, you know, it's been at least, you know, 15 years or so since they've gone through and repaired this little area. But yeah, I'm really liking how this project is turning. Again, you know, thank you for all the support on the last episode. It was a really long episode. Hopefully this one is a little shorter. Try to make it a little shorter, but you know, I ramble a lot. And you know, I like to show off the work. I put a lot of effort into these little updates, these little parks. It doesn't look like it, but you know, it's all there. Oh, one more thing before I forget. Nighttime lighting. I did go ahead and do that. I don't like the lighting in this game. The lighting in this game is actually horrendous. If you're not using global illumination, which unfortunately I cannot. I don't have the hardware for it. But I tried to make it better. But there's only so much I can do without making it look artificial and fake. I really like the glow that the dodgems give off here. It was really, really bright in the last update, so I toned it down. It gives off that subtle vibe of, you can tell the lights are still emitting from it, but you know, it's worn down. Compare that to here, which is the complete opposite, which, hey, I might keep. Who's to say this isn't a newer ride? Who's to say this isn't from, I don't know, the 2000s or something like that? You know, you never know. But I should definitely go in and, ooh, what is that? Why is that there? Okay, Planet Coaster, thank you for bringing up new bugs in the middle of random updates. I love that. But anyway, yeah, I'll probably go down here and tone this down. But I really like how garish the ceiling lights look, and I love how they reflect off of this globe right here. But yeah, that is pretty much it for this episode. Next episode, I'm either going to be working on this side of the park, this little corner in the lake, or we'll continue to go over here. I have a feeling that I'm gonna work on this. I already have this ride made. This ride is made. It's in the park. I just deleted it for the recording so you can't see it. And I'm really happy with how that turned out. It's very eye-pleasing, and it makes me wish that it was in the actual game. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this video. If you would like to see more, subscribe. If you have any suggestions of what I should do next, put it in the comments. And as always, thanks for watching.